Good day, everyone. I would first like to thank everyone for joining today's conference. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take a look at some RB8 updates, and we're going to take a look at some calendar enhancements. If you have a job that is taking place at your office, you can now select our office as the location. You can now enter directions for firms and resources that will auto-populate in the Job Location tab. Anytime the location of a job is changed, an automatic note is added to the Notes Log tab of that job. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple of these enhancements here. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch over to RB8. And first, we're going to click on Calendar, and we're going to select Calendar Manager. Okay, so here we're going to pull up job number 15045. We're going to click Search. Okay, so here we have a job, so let's go ahead and double-click that job to view the job details. And now if we click on the Location tab for this job, you'll see that the location is set to the firm. Now, let's say that this job is going to take place at the core reporting agency's office instead. So from the pull-down, drop-down menu for Lookup From, you will see a new option that reads Our Office. So let's select that option. And a Lookup BU window will appear and display all of your business units. Now, the default business unit that is set up in the user preferences will be selected by default. So if necessary, you'll see the other business units. You can highlight whichever one you want, and then you'll click Select at the top left. Okay, so let's talk about another location enhancement as well. Now, this time, from Lookup From, we're going to select Firm. And we're going to search for Kirkland. And we're going to select the second one there. And we're going to select Kirkland as the actual location. Now, notice that the location detail field at the bottom now has directions to that firm's address. The directions are added in the firm setup. So let me show you where that is. If we click on the View Firm button at the top right, this is the firm setup for Kirkland. And if we look down towards the bottom, right below the warning, you now have a directions field. Whatever directions you input in that particular field, they will automatically populate the location details. So let's go ahead and save and close that firm. So another note is that if you also do Lookup From Resource, the resource has that same directions field in the resource setup too. Okay, so let's go ahead and click Save. And let's go over to the Notes Log tab. Now, if we look here, since we changed the job location, that job location change has been noted. Okay, so that's the new note that's added to the Notes Log tab. So also remember, anytime a job location changes and you have a resource assigned, you can actually get another notification as well. If you belong to the job location change alert group, you will also receive a new message in your message center alerting you of that particular change. Let's continue with some calendar enhancements. In the system preferences, you can now check U.S. holidays that can be excluded from the due dates. So let's take a look at this one. So in RB8, we're going to click on Tools, and we're going to go down to System Preferences. And we're going to select the second tab there, Job Settings. And at the very bottom, you're going to notice we're listing a bunch of different U.S. holidays. Now, after you update, all of the holidays for exclusion of due dates will automatically be unchecked. So if you do want to exclude any of those holidays from the job due dates calculations, you'll need to check the corresponding box underneath active. So let's make sure we check off Thanksgiving and day after Thanksgiving as well, and click OK. Now that we've excluded a couple of holidays, let's actually schedule a job that is occurring before one of those holidays to see how the due date of the job is actually set. So back at the calendar manager here, we're going to act like we're going to create a new job. So we will right-click and select New. And we're going to choose our contact first. And we're going to type in Louis Litt. Click Search. And we'll select Louis. Okay, so for the job date, let's choose November 16th. And then keep in mind the business unit that we have selected, our HOU main there, the default days is set to 8 days before the job is due. Now, we're going to bypass setting all this information. Let's go ahead and just save the job so we can look at the additional info tab. So here, the due date is set to 11/30, which is actually more than 8 days past the jobs, but it excludes the weekends and the 2 holidays that are set in the system preferences. See, if you actually count it out, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then all the way to 8, which is the 30th. So it skipped 26 and 27 automatically. We've added a new column to the main view of the calendar manager that will display the date and time that the current status was changed to. When emailing confirmation letters and resource worksheets, an automatic note is added to the notes log of that job, noting who the email was sent to. It will actually display the email address. A new column has been added, so you can now distinguish between what type of resource you need to assign to a job based on the job type using quick assignments. Okay, so let's take a look and see what the status changed column actually looks like. So we're going to switch back to RB8, and in the calendar manager, this time let's search for job 15044 and click search. Okay, so notice on the columns up here from the results pane, next to the right of the status, you'll now have a status change column. And that particular column, as you can see, it does note the actual date and time that that particular job status was changed to. Okay, so let's take a look now at some production enhancements. A notes log tab has been added to the witness setup in step 1 of Turn-In. When linking exhibits, RB8 will now display all of the available alias patterns to apply during the link process. This is so that you don't have to add all of the aliases one by one. The system will do it all at once for you. Security can be added to the final version of the PDF transcript. You will now have the ability to password protect the document, prevent printing, prevent the ability to copy and paste, to name a few. Condensed transcripts will now print the actual page number with the beginning and ending page number of the transcript. Now let's view some of these changes as well. So back in RB8, we're going to click on Production, and we're going to select Turn-In. Let's input job number 15055 and click Search, and our job will appear here. Okay, so let's double-click this job to look at the Turn-In window. And here we have a job that has a witness turned in already. If we double-click the witness that has been added, next to the far right tab up there, all the way to the right, you will now see that there is a Notes Log tab. The Notes Log tab here works just like all the other notes logs tabs. You can basically click New to make your notes, and you can see that you can set reminders here as well. So new enhancements have been made to the PDF transcript process. So let's take a look at those. Alias patterns for exhibit linking has changed. So first what we'll want to do before we actually look at the link process is we'll click on Tools, and we're going to go down to Pattern List for linking exhibits. You'll notice a few alias patterns have been added, and they all look different, as you can see. The alias pattern that you now set up is a lookup of both the file name and the alias in the transcript. The reason why the question mark is listed in the alias is because that tells the system where to begin to look for the sequence of numbers and or letters in the file name and the alias. So let's take a look at these aliases in action. So we're going to go back to turn in, and this time we're going to change the job number to 15052 and click search. Okay, so let's double click this job, and we already have some turn-in going, as you can see here. And we're going to double click the witness in step 1, Mr. Oliver Black. And we're going to click on the witness level repository tab. Now notice here that we've already uploaded an ASCII file and some exhibits as well. So we're going to go ahead and click on the PDF transcript button up there on the top to begin the actual process. So this is our normal PDF transcript creation process. So I'm going to skip forward until the final PDF transcript screen. So RB is going to create the actual PDFs, the condensed and all that. And here we go. This is the final PDF transcript screen. Okay, so now what we're going to do here is we're going to click on Link Exhibits on the full page transcript section. The system will ask us if we want to link exhibits to the condensed as well. We're going to go ahead and click Yes. So here in the Link Exhibits window, we'll first need to add the exhibits on the left-hand side. So we'll click on Add, and we'll select From Repositories since they were uploaded already. We'll go ahead and check All and click OK. Now, on the right side, this is where we'll add all the alias patterns for the exhibits to link. Click on Add Alias Pattern, and now you can see that all of the alias patterns available will display and automatically be checked. All you have to do here is click Save and Close. What the system does here is it adds the alias pattern that matches with the file name. Selecting all the aliases to add at one time eliminates the need for the end user to have to choose which alias is needed for the exhibits. RB8 will only add the alias that applies to the exhibits. Now, click on Link Exhibits at the top left to create the PDF. And this will take us back to the final PDF transcript screen. And you will notice now that there are all different types of files that are ready to upload to the repository. So let's take a look at the condensed transcript and at how the page numbers are displayed. So we're going to click View. We're going to scroll down a little bit till the actual condensed transcript actually starts. So at the bottom right here, you'll notice that page numbers are down there. And notice that the first number represents the true page number, and the one in parentheses represents the real beginning and ending page number of the transcript. So let's close this, and we'll return to the final PDF transcript screen. And now let's talk about set security. So notice at the top, by the full transcripts one, there's a set security button. So set security will allow you to add security to the transcript, taking some functionality away when it's opened. Security that can be set are do not allow printing, do not allow changing, do not allow copying content and extracting pages, do not allow adding and changing comments. If you were to set any of those security options, you must input a change permission password at the top in blue. That password will be stored in the transcript and prevent security settings from being altered. This password that you set would be one that you wouldn't give out to anyone, because if they had Adobe Acrobat, for example, they could easily, essentially, alter the security that's set behind the actual password. Now notice at the bottom too, you can also check the require a password to open PDF transcript option. Basically, you type in a password there if you want to require that password to be input every time that transcript is opened. So let's click OK, and it's going to set the security right here. And now let's click View on the full page transcript, so we can see some of the security. Now, first off, if you look at the very top left of this transcript where the print icon is, notice that that print icon is grayed out. That's because we prevented printing. Now, to actually see the other security that's actually set, if you click on File at the top and you select Properties, and we're going to click on the Security tab, then you can see down here in the Document Restriction Summary section, you can see all the options and securities that we basically disabled and what's allowed. And now we're going to move on. The ability to create and print shipping labels using FedEx and UPS has been added. So this one, we know people have been waiting for a long time, so let's take a look at this one. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to click on Tools, and we're going to go down to System Preferences. We're going to click on the Shipping tab towards the bottom, third from the bottom. Here, you have all the data fields that need to be input first in order for you to be able to create the shipping labels and then print them. If you need assistance gathering some of the information, we've added useful links to our customer portal that will instruct you on how to obtain your keys for FedEx and UPS. So just make sure you have all this information added to RB8 before you attempt to use the shipping. Okay, so let's click OK, and now we're actually going to take a look at the shipping in action. So we're going to use this same job right here, and we'll go ahead and double-click this job. Now, in step number 3, we're going to double-click the order for Lewis Litt, and we're going to click on the second tab there, Shipping. Now, to create and print shipping, you're going to click New, and then for your delivery method, you have your options. You'll see FedEx and UPS there. We're going to choose FedEx, and we're going to click Print Shipping Label. Ship From will display your default business unit. So you can choose a different business unit if you want to ship from. Notice that, of course, all of these fields in blue are required fields. You do need to put in a contact name and an email address. The Ship To section to the right will default to the sold to contact for the order. You can change that to bill to if you want to, okay? But it will default to the sold to, the person that's ordering. Now at the bottom, you can set the package information and the services you would like to set for the shipping. You can set the packaging type, the weight, and include a return shipping label if you wish on the package information side. Services on the right side include the service type, meaning how many days for delivery, how the pickup and drop-off will be handled, and if a signature is required upon delivery. Shipping label at the bottom, you can choose your label image type. We'll choose PDF. Let's just do the UPS one real fast. Okay, so UPS will basically be the same options. Let's put a weight in real fast, and that's good. Let's do get shipping label. Okay, so your label will open up in the browser, and now you can go ahead and print it out. So perfect. So let's go ahead and close out of here, and we'll go ahead and X out. And you'll notice now that your tracking number has generated, and everything is listed there so you can track the shipment. Okay, one last production item that we want to take a look at. When adding parties in RB8 turn-in and RB web turn-in for reporters, parties will be checked as present, noting they attended the job. So let's take a look at this one. So now we're going to go back to the calendar manager, and we're going to pull up job number 15055 and click search. So let's double click that job to go into the job details, and then we're going to click on the parties tab. Now notice next to Lewis Litt's name, the party that's been added, there is a present field in a checkbox that is unchecked. At this point, the job has been scheduled. We don't know who is present because the job has not yet been turned in. So let's see how the present checkbox can be utilized. So let's go ahead and close this job. And we're going to go to the turn-in for this job. So let's right-click the job and select turn-in towards the bottom. This will automatically open up the turn-in window. We've already started the turn-in process by having the witness added in step 1. So in step 2, let's click on pre-fill parties at the top. Now from the case, we'll go ahead and check off David Stratford there. And let's click on the From Job tab. And we'll select Lewis Litt. We'll add both as ordering parties. And we'll click Save and Close. Okay, so there's the 2 parties that are ordering. Now that we've added these 2 parties and noted that they're ordering, let's go back into the job setup. So we're going to click the View Job button at the top. So that'll open up the job. And let's click back on the Parties tab. Notice that the present checkbox is now checked. So that means anytime a party is turned in as ordering, they will be added to the job parties if they're not already there, and the present checkbox will be checked for you. So keep in mind, if your reporters are turning in jobs using RB Web 8, this will automatically occur as well. Okay, let's look at some other enhancements. A new field has been added to step 2 of turn-in, allowing you to input a reference number for resources that will print out on the total payable report and the resource payroll report. So let's take a look at this one. So let's switch to RB8, and we're going to click on the turn-in, and we're going to utilize the same exact job. So let's go ahead and double-click this job. Now in step 2, if you double-click Lewis Litt's order there, and notice to the bottom right, there is now a reference number for resource field. So if you do affiliate work, for example, and you are sent an invoice from the affiliate, you can input that number there. Again, that number will appear tied to your RB8 invoice, and it will appear on the total payable report and the resource payroll report. That way it's easy for the affiliate to reference what the invoice you're paying them for pertains to. So also note that we changed the original reference number field to now read reference number for contact. This field, that field is exactly the same. We just changed the name. Whatever reference number you input in that section, it will automatically print on the invoice that goes to your client. Okay, last slide for RB8 updates. We added a sales rep column that will display the sales rep name in the results pane for the firms and contacts function. When using the send resource payroll report function to email the resources their payroll sheets, RB8 will default to use the new billing email address field in the resource setup. If the billing email field is left blank, the system will use the email address in the original email field to send the payroll report. If you use the invoice and statement that has the credit card payment section at the bottom right, there is now an area for the client to enter their email address. So we're going to take a look at one of these real fast. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to click on Setup and select Contacts. And we want to pull up all the contacts for a particular firm. So we're going to click Look Up Firm, type in Kirkland, select the second one there. And we will click Search, and it's going to display all of the contacts tied to this particular firm. Notice the second column there, the sales rep column has been added to the results pane. Now it's easy to see which sales reps are tied to what accounts for a particular contact, and it's easy for you to distinguish who doesn't have sales reps tied to them. So again, a lot of you use this for reporting purposes, and you export this data, but now you'll have the sales rep listed next to the contact name so you know who's tied to who. So that's going to wrap up the RB8 updates that we were presenting. Of course, that's not the full update list, but that is what we wanted to show you.